Welcome to the Saints That Serve podcast,
where each week your hosts dive into the crossroads of faith,
culture,
and the unknown. Christ is Lord,
and the kingdom is now. We are the Saints That Serve.
Welcome to the Saints That Serve podcast with your hosts, Johnny and
Jairus, what was that?
That was an awful drum roll.
It sounded like something was caught in your like you had like a bug in your throat. Yeah, like
You know what I realized is that I don't have a drum roll.
I don't have one either.
That seems.
Thank you for interrupting my really bad analogy, because I didn't have anything funny about it. So
You're welcome. Anyways, yeah, this is a podcast where we talk.
Sorry, I forgot. Introduce the podcast again.
Welcome to the Saints That Serve podcast.
That is the Saints That Serve podcast,
where each week we talk about faith, culture, and sometimes
make mistakes and have to go back and correct them.
I was going to say the unknown, but that works too.
Not this week for the unknown, though.
That's true. Not this week. Anyways, yeah, we're here to have fun, and we're going to be talking about a lot of fun stuff today. If you are joining us for the first time, we have a catalog of a lot of great content.
We really do, and that's including live streams now and bonus content.
That's right. Bonus content, episodes, and live streams, plural.
We have two now.
But the more recent one we did was just this past Friday. It was a live stream worship night, and it was fun. We had a good time. Yeah, so you can.
I was there, but not my face.
But yeah, you heard him as a all speaking voice.
Mm-hmm. But John, for an hour, performed worship songs, and I'm going to say God was here.
Oh yeah, I felt that.
Yeah,
you even see that in the recording. I was like, God is doing it. Oh man,
God is doing it.
That's right. Yeah. So yeah, make sure you check out all our stuff. You can follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, X. We're also now on Twitch and YouTube.
Not Facebook Live yet.
Not Facebook. We found out last night when we were about to post the Facebook live stream that we have to have a minimum of 100 likes on our Facebook page. So if you're on Facebook and you haven't liked us yet, help us get to 100 so that we can live stream on Facebook.
That's right. We're only 15 short now.
Yeah, we need 15 people to like our page on Facebook. So if you've already liked it, share it to your friends and get them on board with our community.
So that we can reach out more with live stream video. That was a bit of a downer, wasn't it? We're just sitting there like, all right, here we go. We're all set. Which, by the way, everything went very smooth setting up, which is very rare.
And normally we run into snags, and our biggest snag was just that Facebook
wouldn't let us post to it. And we're just like, well, we have YouTube and Twitch. So there you go. And then on Facebook, we're just like, hey, go to YouTube, guys.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even really call it a real snag as much as a minor annoyance.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was good. We had a fun time, and we've got content out there for you to.
Speaking of content, do you want to talk about our bonus content that we purposefully didn't say anything about and just launched?
Yeah. Go ahead. Tell me.
Me and John had a massive debate. Massive debate. It was huge debate. We released that last Tuesday, which was April 1st.
For those who didn't pick up on it. So go back and listen to that episode where me and John debate who is a better character in Twilight, Jacob or Edward. Yeah. It was, even if you don't like Twilight,
please tune in. It was
enjoyable. Yeah. I thought it was a good debate.
Yeah. Several people who have listened to it told us like that got very, very heated.
Yeah. If you like a little spice in your listening entertainment, then go listen to that. You got a little spicy.
It is labeled bonus debate of the century.
There we go. Yeah. So there you go. Like and follow if you're not already. And if you are, share specifically, I mean, everywhere, but share it on Facebook so that we can get Facebook live stream going, because we've got another live stream worship night coming up the first Friday of May.
And our schedule currently for that is the first Friday of every month. We will be doing a worship live stream.
Yep. We got a lot going on, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We got more live streaming content coming later this year that will branch off of,
The Saints That Serve.
The Saints That Serve. So you're not going to know about that stuff unless you are plugged into the community by following and liking and listening and all that.
Yeah. And something you said last night during the live stream was we're not reaching out to you, asking you to engage or anything like that for monetary gain. We are strictly wanting y'all to be in the know and to be able to know what's coming so that you can be part of this community so that God can be known.
Yeah. We just want to build community so that people can have a place and feel the love of God in that place. We're reaching out. And just embrace. Come on board for the ride. We have fun, talk about fun stuff, and we bring it back. We try our best to bring it back to Jesus. So, that's what I've got. If you got any need for prayer, you can reach out to us at saintsthatserve@gmail.com is our email. You can reach out to us on social media. You can also go to the bottom of the description for this episode and all episodes.
Every single episode.
And there is a link for an SMS messaging option. You can click on that link and message us, and we'll get it. And we'll see what you need, and we'll respond. And that's for prayer requests, anything, comments, questions, angry comments.
Angry comments.
Yeah.
No angry rebuttals to the things we say.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, a response.
Angry response.
Angry response. We like it all. We embrace it all. So.
And more than likely, we will engage with it and we will talk about it.
Yeah.
And if we don't like it, we'll still talk about it and not give you any way to rebuttal.
There we go. Yeah. Silence you right away. No, I don't think we have any new comments. So besides the ones we already addressed on the live stream.
Right.
Which we already talked about. So thanks for everyone tuning in.
Real quick, one last thing. On YouTube, our videos are now, instead of audio videos, they are now video videos.
Yes.
And what that means is before it was just a still image of our logo.
Yeah.
And you could kind of just step away from it. They now have visuals attached to every episode. So if we're talking about something, showing it off, even for one moment, there is a video version of the podcast.
That's right.
So like later on, we'll be playing a little bit of Facebook Marketplace Madness in this episode. If you want to see those items, tune into the video version of this episode.
That's right. Get in there. And what did we say was the most recent info for that live stream? I'm trying to pull it up right now.
I think it was either 69 or 70 views. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I think it was at 80 views.
Oh, it's gone up to 80?
Yeah.
It's jumped up 11 since I looked at it last.
Yeah.
Nice.
80 views.
Hey, views.
Hey, views. There's no like comments. There was comments during the live stream, but I guess those get removed.
What it is when you live stream it kind of records it and then uploads it, and I guess those don't stay.
They don't go over, yeah.
Which is kind of silly, but you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah. So there you go. Go check out that live stream. We had a lot of fun, and I think a lot of people enjoyed at least 80 people enjoyed it.
I mean, 80 people wanted to engage with it, so
yeah.
Counted.
There we go.
That is probably our highest day one viewership on anything we've ever done.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're breaking records over here in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
All right. So we need to go into a time of apology.
Yeah.
So I need you to apologize.
Okay. So we're moving into our next segment.
Yeah. So Tyler, this is your transition. We're going into a moment of apology.
So this is a little segment we call Let Me Apologize.
Yeah.
Guys, I know that you were just chilling at the side of the pool, just trying to sunbathe and, trying to look your best, look your summer best, fit the fit,
Fit the fit.
Fit the fit. And, just doing your thing in the middle of the summer. And me, a 30-year-old man, decided to do a cannonball in the pool right next to you. And it just ruined everything. And just got you all wet. And I'm so sorry for that. I'm just so sorry that I, as a 30-year-old man, did a big splashy splash and got you all wet.
When you went to the pool, but not to get wet, to sunbathe.
Yeah. Some people do that. And it's a legitimate reason.
Some people
you go to sunbathe.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah. So I did the big splash and got you all wet and ruined your day. I'm so sorry. Okay. Oh, wait. Shh. Do you have anything to apologize for?
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Listen, I know that flying on an airplane is the most stressful thing that you can do. I know that it hurts you a lot to even think about boarding a flight. And I know that especially long flights wreck your mental space. So adding things onto that are just an abomination. And so I'm sorry that when you had to go number one in the airplane laboratory, that I went number two right before you went in there and did not flush. I know that wrecked you and it hurt. And so I am sorry that you had to smell that and experience that. Yeah.
I feel a lot better now.
You're welcome.
Hey, Charlie.
I don't know.
Guys, let us know if you like this new segment, Let Us Apologize.
Yeah.
Because actually, it's a lot of fun doing it.
I'm having fun making it. Because here's the deal. These aren't scripted. We're making these up.
Yeah, we're just like strengthening and testing our improv.
Yeah. Do I need to apologize for that? As we're talking about it, we're like, should I apologize for this? Is this something that I need to apologize for?
Do I really need to apologize that I hit your cat with my car?
Is that really something that I need to be apologizing?
I mean, it was a cat. And no.
Come on. There's a bunch of those. No, that's awful.
That's awful. No.
The only cat that matters is a trash cat, though.
Yeah. There can only be one. That's why I hit your cat with a car.
Yeah. It's like Highlander.
Highlander, but with cat.
There could only be one cat.
Meowlanders.
Meowland. Yes. Oh, man. No, I had it's not on the internet, but I did have a comment from somebody that said that they really like Trash Cat.
Mm-hmm.
It's a new viewer or listener. Yeah, viewer. We could say viewer.
Well, wasn't this during the live stream?
No, they were listening to episode 1.
Oh, okay.
So we'll say a listener, but they were listening to episode 1 and they're like, I love the Trash Cat. And I was like, so do we. So
there can only be one Trash Cat.
There can only be one.
All right, that's got to be like our third shirt. Just it says Muon.
One.
There can only be Muon, and it's a picture of Trash Cat.
Muon. Here we go. All right.
So that was our segment. Let me apologize.
Let me apologize. And now that we've got it
out of our system,
we're going to transition Tyler into our main topic.
Which is what?
Which is, I don't even know how we worded the...
I think it's, and I don't know how to put this in the title.
Yeah.
Christian media controversies.
Should we say Christians versus media? I don't know.
Christians versus media. Well, that happens all the time.
That's true. But just things that Christians have had issues with that were entertainment.
Mm-hmm. But like things that were so major backlashes that the larger media, like news cycle, picked up on it and was, reporting on it and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's most of it. I've got a couple that are like, because growing up as a Christian homeschooler,
mm-hmm.
there were some things that my parents were like, that's a no-go. It wasn't necessarily like big popular for the Christian people, but
Sure. And you talked about this a little bit, and I find it interesting because I don't think, and it's fine we talk about it. It's not off topic or anything like that, but it's not, I don't think the ones you mentioned were really big controversies as a whole, but more of a controversy within your household.
Yeah, it would have been a major minority. I mean, definitely wasn't just our house, but it wouldn't be individual stuff like I'm going to talk about, but it would be lumped in under, it's like, well, we don't let our kids watch Disney princess movies because there's always these problems.
Mm-hmm.
So the one that we talked about, this is firsthand information. I called my mommy.
You called your mom?
And
hey, Mom.
Hey, Mom. And she gave me some ammo. So one of the big movies, this is the first one that came to her mind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know?
Is it the one we talked about earlier?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know. So this is the first one that came to her, Pocahontas. She didn't let us watch Pocahontas growing up because half of it was grossly inaccurate to the original story.
So what you're telling me is, in reality, there wasn't a talking tree and a sentient raccoon?
No.
Who was best friends with Pocahontas?
No, there was not.
But the hummingbird was real, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, they got that one right. Good old Disney. And then there was the New Age pantheistic spiritualism that they pushed in the movie that obviously as Christians we're like, well, we don't believe in that and we don't want
We
that.
do not, in fact, paint with all the colors of the wind.
Yeah. Even though it's like a catchy song and I find myself hearing it in my brain.
We talked about this before, but especially with Disney movies, a lot of times the most catchy songs are the ones that represent the most evil in Disney movies, right? Like the villain songs, those are always...
Bye-bye.
Do it?
Like bye-bye?
Bye-bye. Except for that one song.
Yeah.
I mean, just like,
Like how Lin-Manuel has fallen
far. I mean, just like Be Prepared or Hellfire from Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Which hits pretty hard.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got you. Another one was Sleeping Beauty.
Dragon.
Yeah, because of the dragon. Well, because...
I mean, witchcraft in general.
Witchcraft in general, yeah. We had a family...
How do you feel... I'm going to let you finish your thought. And then
I'm going to let you finish, but...
I'm actually going to let you finish.
No, there was a family that we knew growing up. We were friends with them, but the kids were not allowed to watch Mary Poppins because of that. Because it's like, oh, Mary Poppins is a witch, so we can't watch it.
Mm-hmm. Your thought on that? Do you think she's a witch?
No,
I
don't think so.
I mean, she's not in the movie.
Conjuring. She's not conjuring anything.
But she's like pulling things out of her bag and all this stuff and pulling kids into I don't know. It might be witchcraft.
I have always understood it as, even though she is physically there, she's the embodiment of imagination.
Sure.
And to me, it's like she's blending the two worlds of responsibility and imagination and showing how they coexist.
Mm-hmm.
And that you don't have to go one way or the other. You can still be responsible and have creativity.
Mm-hmm.
So, because there's not really any kind of conjuring, it's kind of just, she just is who she is and she just does what she does.
So does wizards and witches.
No, because they do incantations and cast things or make concoctions out of these weird things. And it's like, this will give me the power to do this.
So you're telling me transporting kids into a chalk drawing is not witchcraft?
Did she conjure anything?
Yeah, she conjured all these creatures inside this chalk world.
No, she was like, yeah, okay, we'll just go there. Come on. And then they just go there.
Yeah, and a wizard says, and I'm just going to cast a spell. And then I cast the spell. So there you go.
Yeah. She didn't cast a spell.
It's been a very long time since I've seen Mary Poppins.
Maybe she did. I don't know. Maybe supercalifragilisticexpialidocious is a spell. I don't know.
Easy. We're Christian. No, but I get what you're saying. All joking aside, it's really probably not. It's just a whimsical fantasy type situation, and it might have the, because it's fantasy and whimsical.
Yeah.
It's driven by imagination.
Yeah.
It creates the illusion that it's witchcraft because it's unnatural to the normal world.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's my paradigm. Like, I don't necessarily lump her in with witchcraft and magic because I just see it as creativity. Kind of like the Disney creative.
What's Inside Out?
No. The ride at Disney World.
Oh, Imagination.
Imagination, yeah.
Journey into Imagination.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
With the dragon?
Yeah, Journey into Imagination with Figment.
Yeah, Figment. Thank you.
Of your imagination.
Yeah, Figment of your imagination. But like I look at that, he's a personification of
imagination, but he is a dragon.
But he is a dragon. Yeah, so I guess he is evil. No. Yeah, but that's how I see it. There are some things in Disney that it's just the personification of imagination. And so there really are no limits because the imagination can conjure up anything perceivable.
So the real question is Mary Poppins...
Notice how I put the conjure.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Is Mary Poppins a real person in that movie? Or do you think the kids are just seeing her, creating her with their imagination?
Well, everybody sees her. That's the problem. Is you can't make it... She's not made up because the parents see her. I think the bankers see her. She makes a house call to a random stranger who's stuck on his ceiling.
True.
So, do
you think then, to piggyback off that,
every single chimney sweep in the city sees her?
It's true. But she conjured them.
Did she?
With her spell,
she was trying to get everybody to stop getting on the roof and jumping up and down and, hey, your spider's back. Oh, God. Time out. Oh my gosh. Dude, what are the odds? It's right here.
I felt it on my back.
Oh my gosh. All right, are you ready to stomp on it?
Yeah. I'm keeping that in.
When we did the live stream, a spider was in Jairus's bag and it disappeared when he tried to get rid of it. And now there was a spider on Jairus's back. Oh man, that was funny. He jumped up. Usain Bolt couldn't have got up quicker than you did just now. Usain Bolt, fastest man alive.
Usain Bolt.
He couldn't have jumped up quicker than you just did. That's funny.
Oh gosh. No, it hit. I felt something hit my head. And I'm like, what is that? And I tilted my head to the left.
Oh, dude. So it went up instead of down last night.
Unless that's a second spider.
Yeah, it's probably another one. It's probably another same
one. No. So I tilted my head to the left. Like, what is that? And then it hit me on the
and ran
shoulder.
Across your chest.
And across my chest. Ah!
Oh, man.
I don't even know. Where were we at?
Riveting content. No, we were talking about the chimney sweeps.
Oh, I said that she conjured them.
Yeah.
So everything you're seeing, is that a visual representation of what she's just playing make-believe with the kids type thing, you think?
Yeah, I don't, because it's almost like it's not real until you embrace it. Because, like all the bankers, like they were all puff until the old guy started laughing at the joke. It's like he could finally laugh about something and then he starts floating up to the ceiling.
Okay.
So it's like it's only real if you embrace it. Kind of a deal.
So there you go.
So yeah, it's like imagination.
So it's just a visual representation of the nanny playing with the children.
Yeah.
And what's really happening is just reality.
Yeah.
She didn't fly away when she left. She just got on a car and left.
Or did she? I don't know.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
Good one.
So my question to you, stepping back to Steppenwolf, the villain or the artist?
The villain or the artist?
There's Steppenwolf in Justice League, and then there's Steppenwolf, the singer, I believe.
I guess pick your poison.
I like that movie, Justice League. Not a lot of people did, but I did. So
okay, there you go.
Is a movie bad if they have a bad person in it, but that is not the protagonist of the story? That is the antagonist, the opposing force in that story. So in Sleeping Beauty, yes, there's a dragon. Yes, there's witchcraft. Yes, there's evil in the movie, but that is not, they're not portraying that as a positive in the film. How do you feel about that?
I see what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, today as an adult, I'm a little bit more relaxed about some of that stuff because, yeah, it's obvious that, like, here's the bad guy, here's the good guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
As long as we stick to the morality of it, this is right and this is wrong. It's black and white.
Yeah.
The issue that we're dealing with today in our society that's being pushed in children's entertainment and media is it's not black and white anymore.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff is gray. And it's like, well, I guess it could be bad, but this person or this thing's not bad. In other contexts, it might be bad, but here it's good.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, no, there is truth and there is right and there is wrong and there is good and there is evil and there's no blending of the two. You can't mix and match them, right? Mm-hmm. And so what God says is bad and what God says is wrong is wrong. And we can't come in with our worldly stuff and say like, oh, no, it's okay. It's good now. For our creative purposes, it's good now. That's just, I don't agree with that. So that's more of the battle, I would say, today for Christianity versus media is the doing away with the idea of right and wrong and just letting all things be right, letting all things be wrong.
So, and that I think leads into my first one, which is something that I feel like, and we've talked about on the show several times.
Yeah.
Which is they have all the characters doing the evil thing.
Yeah.
That us Christians should oppose.
Yep.
But then there's good people doing it and bad people doing it.
Yeah.
That's Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Witchcraft. They're all wizards, witches.
Yep.
Say what you will.
They're all practicing
witchcraft,
divination and all that stuff. Yeah.
Which we should not be doing.
Yeah, we should not be doing that.
So, to just disclaimer, I do enjoy Harry Potter. I do not practice the witchcraft. I do not.
Yeah.
I just enjoy watching the movies because I like them as a film.
Yeah, the story inside of it, I'm not going to argue. It's a good story. And it does hold to the, there's evil and there's good.
Mm-hmm.
And the good has to fight against the evil. And the good, no matter how bad the evil is or how big the evil is, good will win. So those are in the story. And, I agree with those points. But the universe that they're setting up where all this is existing, I would disagree with.
Right.
In that context.
From the point of view of a Christian.
From the point of view of a Christian. You're right. Because that's the problem. With Harry Potter, it's coming from I think that it's, for a lot of people, it's coming from a place of none of this is real, so I can pretend it.
Right.
Because it doesn't have any effect on me because it's fake. It's a fantasy. Like there's no such thing as magic. There's no such thing as manifestations and witchcraft and divination, so it doesn't affect me. So I can pretend and have fun and get away from reality. I totally get that. The problem is that there is witchcraft, there is divination, there is manifestation of demonic and physical evil.
And it might not be done exactly the way that they portray it in the movie, right?
Yeah.
But it's still a thing, and that is an issue because you still are attempting these things, welcoming these demonic presences in, even as a child, waving a toy wand.
Yeah. You're permitting, by participating in the practices, you're permitting saying like, hey, I allow this because I'm open to it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas as a Christian, we need to say, this is not of God. This is not true. God calls us not to do these things. So let's not play with this.
Right.
So that, I guess when we get into the Harry Potter stuff, because we get into it often, as Christians, if we can draw the line and say, I'm watching this movie or I'm reading these books and I don't agree with any of this stuff, but I do like the story of good versus evil, I guess there's room for that argument.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can't make that clear distinction and it's kind of gray, you don't need it in your life. So probably just get it out of your life.
So I have some notes here. So I'm going to kind of read from them and kind of we'll talk about it.
Okay.
But, when Harry Potter was released, the main concern for Christians was they believed the books encouraged children to explore witchcraft, which we talked about, due to the use of spells, potions, and magical elements.
Yeah.
Those groups of people, the actions they took to counter that, and this is what, gained a lot of traction in the news, is they organized book burnings.
Okay.
And nothing says... I put a joke in here. But I'll read my notes here.
Okay.
Some churches organize book burnings, and some Christian schools ban this series from their libraries.
Yeah.
And, nothing says, let's teach good morals like burning books.
Yeah.
And, the counter argument to that, right?
Yeah.
With, the actions to it, what are the positives of Harry Potter? And we talked about that. It's the good versus evil and redemption story, values that align with Christian teachings.
Yeah.
And what's the cultural impact of it, right?
I'm hooked on they would burn books because I'm thinking about how counterproductive that was. They had to buy the books to burn them.
Yeah, if somebody bought those books for sure.
Someone in the church bought those books and brought them so they could burn them.
Right.
And it's like, well, the damage has already been done. You've already bought it from the publisher and given
They got your money.
They got your money. They don't care what you do with the book now.
And despite the controversy, Harry Potter becomes one of the best-selling book series of all time and was even studied for its moral lessons in some Christian circles.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the author herself is even professed to...
Yeah, there's controversy around her right now with the liberal media because she has come out and actually had more, right-leaning standards and morals.
Yeah.
To a degree.
I was going to say, I don't know her personal profession of faith, if she's devoutly following Christ or not, but she has admitted to taking Christian principles and applying them to the story.
Right.
So, yeah, there is that in there. But here's the argument to be made. Any story that's good will have biblical aspects in it because the greatest story of all time is the redemption story of Jesus Christ.
Right.
God makes the way for man to be redeemed from sin, and God is the conquering hero who overcomes sin through his self-sacrifice and then his victory over death as the final deal, right? And so that's from the Bible, and that really happened. And so now every story latches on to those ideas and those principles to make a good story.
Mm-hmm.
So you can find principles from the Bible and the gospel message in most good stories, just because that's the greatest story.
Mm-hmm.
So, we bring up Lord of the Rings all the time, bring up C.S. Lewis. I mean, now here we are talking about Harry Potter. I haven't read any of the Game of Thrones books, but I would venture out to say that there's some spiritual principality or principles that are relayed in those books, just because if it's a good enough story to get a following like it has, there's going to be imagery of self-sacrifice and,
I mean, when God has created this entire earth, principles and imagery of God will be seen in everything.
Yeah, we can't create something new. We can only take from our paradigm and what we know to exist, and then get creative with the presentation of it. Like, there's not... I mean, even if we were to make something up like flibbity flobbity flubber, we would be taking different pieces of reality and blending them together to make, I say in quotes, make something new.
But reality was created by the creator.
Yeah, we're using implements of our creation to create something new. So
what you might be saying is wrong, but your ingredients are God.
God made. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
We'll probably talk about it again.
Yeah, because it's probably the go-to. That's why I started with it.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, I had one that is not super not into the
unknown
and demonic stuff, but it was kind of shot down by some hyper-conservative groups the Disney show Recess.
Really?
And the reason was because of the demeaning and deteriorating character of
the parental
the
figures.
Adults.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, adults are stupid and not as smart as the kids, and the kids can overcome the issues, and the adults are just blubbering idiots who need the kids.
Who is the opposing force? They're the villains. They're the evil ones, and we, the kids, are right. There was I think that's a very 90s thing. A lot of 90s, and at the time, it was created as just an entertaining thing that a kid could enjoy, and their intent of that wasn't to cause kids to rebel against authority, but that's what ended up coming from it, and that's why we are where we're at today with the shows that there are today, where they're actually rebelling against their parents on Disney shows.
Yeah.
Back then, it was happening. I don't think the intent of it was that. It was just more to create something that the kids could relate to. We're kids, and these are the opposing forces that we have to deal with. Because in those shows, when you met the kids' parents, they respected their parents. They just didn't respect the people who caused them troubles throughout their day, which is mostly at the school.
Well, yeah, so there was a lack of respect for authority.
But not their parents.
And, well, some of them, there was some disobedience to the parents.
But those were always like the quote-unquote bad kids.
I guess. But there was a promotion of a father not being in the home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they started promoting that in the 90s.
Yeah.
I hate to say promoting, but because I think the idea was like, hey, this is kind of starting to happen. There's not a father in the home, so let's make a relatable character. But, you know, here we are today where we've got an entire generation where they don't have a father figure. They didn't grow up with a father figure. And a surprising amount of people who are willing to go out and riot, and they don't know why they're doing it. They're just out there doing it, you know? So it's bizarre to me that it's like, hey, we grew up with these things that the underlying message was fight against authority, do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And you're in the right. You're not in the wrong. You're in the right for doing what you want to do.
And again, I'm not saying it's okay, but the way that they were framing these movies was for films, TV, for these kids wasn't meant to have the kids to rebel against anybody at the time. I think that that's the case now.
But
they were just trying to, it's possible it could have been the beginning of something.
Yeah.
I didn't, because I watched the show. I watched all of the 90s content.
Yeah.
I never got the thought, or if they were trying to implant anything into my brain, I never got that. I never, had the feeling I had to rebel by watching Recess or Snow Day or any of these shows.
But post that, a little older, what was your attitude towards your mom?
Yeah, when I was a teenager. You might be right. You might be right.
It's a psychological thing. That's why as adults, like when you start having kids, and I had to learn this lesson, but it's like when you start having kids, you can't watch the show for the entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
You got to watch the show for the underlying messages in it. Because the kids are not going to articulate, this is the underlying message of the story. I remember all the time, we'd ask Mom, like, hey, what'd you think of that movie? And she'd like, well, I didn't like the underlying message because it promoted this. And we're like, what the heck are you talking about? We didn't even see that. That's not in there. But the reality is we were cultivated by certain things that we watched, and we didn't even realize that this was the underlying message that was being presented. And it was, if you got enough of that same thing, it became indoctrination, and you wouldn't pinpoint it like, oh, I got this from there, but I believe this, or I act this way because, and that, I mean, you see that in college campuses, like people are indoctrinated in certain college campuses, and they can't give an argument as to why they believe what they believe. They just believe it.
They defend it because they enjoy it and they believe it. Like I just defended Recess.
Yeah, exactly.
I did. Honestly, I'm going to backpedal. I kind of blindly defended Recess on it.
Yeah.
The moment you said, because I watched that show and I really enjoyed that show.
Because it's entertaining.
That's
the point, is
maybe it's always been that way, these shows, even now. It's just as an adult, if you see them, it's obviously more blatant that it wants you to rebel against authority.
Yeah. So you got to be careful.
There he goes. There's the proof. Recess. Don't let your kids watch it.
Boom. So anyways, all right, what's the next one?
So I have a one that I think this one I remember just as much as Harry Potter.
Okay.
And that is The Golden Compass.
Golden Compass.
You remember this?
Never watched it. I remember when it came out.
Well, I mean, yeah. Do you remember the controversy in it happening and all that stuff?
I don't remember a whole lot about it. It was just because it was like, yeah, we're not going to go see that. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I wasn't allowed to go watch the Lord of the Rings in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason, because I was too young.
Yeah.
So.
I remember what was funny about this was I was allowed to watch Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But when I said something about going and seeing wanting to see the Golden Compass, my mom immediately was like, "You cannot go watch that.
Really?
That is of the devil."
Okay.
So, to my understanding, the movie The Golden Compass itself, and again, I defended Recess, so here we go. To my understanding, there is a movie, The Golden Compass, that came out in the 2000s.
Yeah.
That the problem with The Golden Compass was not the movie, it was the books.
December 7th, 2007.
2007.
The movie came out.
Mm-hmm. So in it, they had a character in the book. I saw the movie, okay? So I don't have a lot of knowledge on the series, but to my understanding, it was the villain in it was claiming to be God.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I am God, and they had to kill him because he was a false God.
Okay.
And
the first book came out in 1995.
95.
Yeah.
So they go and they kill this villain, right?
Yeah.
And so what the Christian community latched onto was, oh, the kids have to kill God.
Yeah.
But it was a God. That's my understanding of it.
Okay.
I could be wrong. But the series itself, the first book was The Golden Compass, but it was written by Philip Pullman, and the book series was called His Dark Materials. And it was seen...
Trilogy.
The trilogy. Is it a trilogy? I think it is.
It's a trilogy, yeah, because there's Northern Lights, The Subtle Knife, The Amber Spyglass. But the book series is called His Dark Materials.
Okay, so there's not one actually called The Golden Compass then?
No.
Oh, okay. Whoops.
But the Golden Compass would be the Northern Lights, the first one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the series was seen as
not because I know. I haven't read the books.
He has Google pulled up.
I have Google pulled up. I love how I had to make a disclaimer. For all my Christian friends, I don't know.
The series was seen as promoting anti-Christian themes and portraying organized religion as oppressive. Because they did have the group in it who were snatching up children. Because I think it was like they had like a spirit animal that was attached to them, and they were grabbing all these kids and removing their spirit animals. And all this stuff is the quote unquote oppression of religion, all that nonsense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Churches and Christian organizations called for a boycott of the 2007 film. And I have a little joke in here. I like calling out my jokes.
I'm ready.
It says, yet somehow nobody boycotted the Twilight movies. Pullman himself stated that he wrote the series as a response to C.S. Lewis's The Chronicles of Narnia, which he saw as Christian propaganda.
Then there you go.
So there you go. The movie underperformed, though, likely due in part to the controversy.
Yeah.
But the books remain popular among fantasy readers. There you go.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and say if somebody is writing a book in response to Christian propaganda, that it's going to be anti-Christian.
Yeah.
And that's funny.
So good stuff. Golden Compass. Yeah, don't let your kids watch it, I guess.
Yeah.
They have a series on HBO Max.
Really?
And it does the whole story.
Okay.
And it's a television series. I tried to watch the first episode.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get through it. So I can't tell you if it's any good or not, or if it's even worth the effort. So yeah, everybody just don't bother with this one.
Wait. In this it says it functions in part as a retelling and inversion of John Milton's epic Paradise Lost. Huh. Interesting.
Hey, what's your next one?
I think I got one more. Actually, no, I don't have any more because my other ones were Harry Potter and Gold Compass.
Really?
Yeah. So there you go.
Hey, the good thing about the Golden Compass, it has that guy. What's his name? Sam Nilsson. Not Sam Nilsson. Jeez. The guy who like he has that. I'm the rough cowboy guy. He has the white mustache. What's his name? He was in Ghost Rider as the cowboy rider.
I can't think of it.
You know who I'm talking about, though, right?
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott. Yeah.
There we go. You know how I figured out how to pull his name up?
What's that?
I put the man who killed Hitler and then the Bigfoot because he's in that movie.
What? That's the movie.
I've never seen the movie. I just remember when the title came out in 2008.
It's called The Man Who Killed Hitler and the Bigfoot.
And then the Bigfoot.
Yeah. That sounds like something we need to watch and review for the corner or something.
We may need to watch it as a live stream watch along.
If it's appropriate.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it. Maybe not. Maybe I'll change that up. Anyways, yeah. That's all I got for.
Okay. Well, I've got a couple more if you want to continue on.
Yeah, let's hit like 2 more.
Okay. So the next one, again, I really remember this one. And this one, I enjoyed the movie just because I really liked National Treasure when it came out, and it was around the same time.
National Treasure.
But I can 100% see why this story would be a controversy for Christians, and it's the Da Vinci Code.
Okay.
The book suggested that Jesus Christ was married to Mary Magdalene and that the church covered it up.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And that, if I'm not mistaken, the end goal was essentially the location of Mary Magdalene.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you could because Mary, had a child with Jesus, you could then trace more lineage down to find somebody who is a descendant of Jesus. That was the story. That's what they were after. And all these clues that the Vatican had laying around, very National Treasure style, was to try and find the tomb of Mary.
Ah, gotcha.
And it scratched that National Treasure itch because it came out around the same time.
Yeah.
And it's like National Treasure was such a cool movie, treasure hunting. It scratched that treasure hunt, follow the clues type movie.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, again, if this is what you base your religion on, is some weird story, you're going to be led astray so hard, so quick.
Yeah, because I did talk to my mom about that too, because she read the books.
She did.
But she was saying that the big issue was a lot of the Christians who were like anti the Da Vinci Code. It's because they were not looking at it for what it was, which was a fictional story.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas they were looking at it as being presented as this guy's writing an opposing view of Christianity, and we need to oppose him for opposing us. So it's a fictional story that he made up. I don't have an issue with it.
Brown, if I'm not mistaken, was the author.
Yeah. But she was saying, because I'm looking at it from the lens of this is fictional.
Mm-hmm.
He's just taking creative liberties with truths that are out there and making up a story.
Which, funny enough, even though this one more directly attacks Christianity, this one probably is the one that is probably the most relatable to almost to Christians, because it's based at real places. The locations they go to in the movie are all real places. They aren't saying Jesus isn't real.
Yeah.
They're just saying that there's more to his story that the Catholic Church covered up about.
Yeah.
So it is interesting on that front. Funny enough, though, the Catholic Church did condemn the book and the movies.
Well, there you go.
And the scholars debunked many of the historical claims.
Because it
says it didn't happen.
Because it didn't happen. Oh, man, that's funny.
Even Dan Brown, the author, insisted the book was fiction, though he presented some of its elements as based on historical research. Of course, because Jesus is real.
Exactly. That's funny. Well, here we are. Yeah, the Da Vinci Code. I know nothing about it.
It's a good movie. It's that's one of the few ones on here that's just like, if you are strong in your faith,
yeah,
and you understand going into the movie that like your mom said, it's a work of fiction and go into it knowing it's a work of fiction,
Yeah.
it is a entertaining movie.
There you go. All righty. One more.
One more. This one's fun because this one is blatant.
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 Looking forward to
that. And one that we really should be more careful. And I think me and you have played this.
Really?
Yeah, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
That was a huge controversy.
Yep.
Because the cultural impact with Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, you look at Stranger Things.
Yeah.
That is nothing but inspiration through 80s culture. It may mostly Dungeons and Dragons, right?
Yep.
And it's heavily, heavily satanic.
Yes.
The lore, the creatures, how they are summoning, all this stuff. It's very.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I'm not in Dungeon Dragon. We have gone to Dungeon and Dragon sessions and played maybe 1 or 2 sessions of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
But we never went at it from the angle of the witchcraft side of it or anything.
Correct. Yeah.
We went to it for the strategic fun side of playing it.
The game mode.
The game structure.
Yeah. The way you play the game is fun. And it becomes entertaining because it blends storytelling, improv, and critical thinking.
Well, you have to have that strategic strategy. You have to come up with it on the spot.
Yeah.
With luck, rolling dice and chance and all that stuff.
There is an element of chance in the game. Yeah.
And what's cool about the game format of Dungeons and Dragons can be implemented to any scenario.
Yep.
What was fun when you created a quote unquote D&D game, and it was just office workers going through their office work day.
Yeah.
Nothing demonic about it in the least. It was just fun.
Yeah.
So,
do you want to give the ending to that though? Do you remember this?
We never actually continued the story, but
at the end of the first session,
we never went back. But so it was office workers going through the whole work day, going to the copy machine, rolling the dice to see if the copy actually copied and stuff like that. And then I think my character's like, I'm leaving for the day. It was quitting day for the work day.
No, it was there was one thing that was off in the office, and it was that there was one window and the blinds were down.
That's right.
And everyone kept on trying to go back over and open the blinds. And throughout the game, everyone was rolling really crappy when it comes to opening this blind. And and so they couldn't do it till the end of the game when I was about to try and wrap it up anyways. They opened the blind, and then it turns out that
the zombie apocalypse was happening. And I guess your plan on that was everybody goes outside, and now they're actually surviving a zombie apocalypse.
But it's not like they didn't build their characters to be survivalists in a zombie apocalypse. They built them as people that were working
office workers. I think I made a guy who was overweight.
Yeah, he was like 400 pounds, and the entire game you were trying to find a comfy chair.
Right. That was my goal the entire time. It's like, because I was like the office secretary.
Yeah, you were the receptionist.
And so I just kept I had a really crappy chair. And so my character was motivation was, I got to get a better chair. And so not for in the game, 8-hour work day.
Yeah.
Not we played for an hour or two.
Yeah.
And so for 8 hours, instead of doing my job, I just was going around the office trying to find a comfy new chair.
Oh my gosh, dude. It was so funny. It was a fun time.
So my point to that is creating that game. We had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
And created a community and bonding moment through all our friends in that.
Yep.
That was based around Dungeons and Dragons. But that wasn't exactly the demonic demons, creatures summoning that Dungeons and Dragons is.
It was based off of the game mode used in Dungeons and Dragons because it's used in other things like Starfinder and other games like that.
And Starfinder is space. Right.
It's
aliens.
Space version of Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
But it's more heavily technological whereas Dungeons and Dragons has an element of technology and technological stuff, but they're heavy into the elemental and magic. And So the role-playing game Dungeons and Dragons was linked to witchcraft
demonic summoning, and even real-life crimes during the satanic panic of the 1980s and 1990s.
Whoa.
Some churches banned the game, and Christian media warned against it. Ironically, warning kids about something that usually makes them more interested in it.
Yeah.
And that's probably why today Dungeons & Dragons is widely recognized as a harmless storytelling game, even though it's not.
If you have a blinded paradigm of the spiritual does not really exist, the game's harmless.
It has been used in Christian ministry settings, which we have, but again, the format of the game, not the creatures of the game.
Yeah.
So there you go. In other words, the biggest thing it ever summoned was an army of nerds.
Yeah. And that's the thing is I have been exposed to, the operations of the demonic.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had interactions with these things and it's very real to me.
Mm-hmm.
If someone's never experienced a manifestation before or been in the realm of the occult, then it's hard for them to accept the reality of it until they get that exposure, right? So it's like if you've never been exposed to the reality of the demonic being in our reality, then Ouija boards and Dungeons and Dragons and seances, they all seem harmless.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, I don't really believe in that stuff. So.
I mean, you go into a Target and they have Ouija boards in the section that's right next to Candyland and Monopoly.
Yeah.
It's for a lot of people, it's just a game.
Yeah.
It's just something that you see in these movies that these stupid teenagers do, and then they end up getting, killed by Jason,
Yeah. And it's into that, like the whole, haunted houses and haunted ghost tours stuff. And it's like, all that is like, oh, well, it's either orchestrated by people or it's just a fun coincidence.
Yeah. It's all, a lot of people, that's the problem with a lot of these media properties is you can enjoy them, but you have to have a conscious Christian mind about it because if you don't, it's to a lot of people, it's just fun and games. It's not real.
Yeah.
And you become cold and, jaded towards it. And you're just living your whole life doing and practicing witchcraft and you don't even realize it.
Well, let me articulate it another way, as you would say it. Like,
thank you, because I'm not good at articulating what I'm saying.
As a Christian, if you're not aware of what these things do in the real world, you don't need to be participating in them whatsoever. And if you are aware, you need to be combating them as a Christian. If you're not a believer, then we need to get that figured out first, right? I mean, obviously, we don't want you to be in bondage to the demonic or opening yourself up to the demonic control. But, the odds are you already have some sort of demonic presence in your life if you're not a believer. And that's what Christ does. He shines the light into the darkness and exposes these demonic chains that are on us and forces them out of our lives and gives us salvation from our bondage to sin and the demonic forces around us and adopts us as children to the eternal God. And we get to live in the light of Christ and be free from demonic bondage. So yeah, if you're a Christian, you need to be operating. I mean, you really need to be operating ready to go toe to toe with any kind of demonic activity because it will pop up throughout your life, but you're not going to know. You're not going to know you're in battle if you don't know your enemy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I got to say about that. But on a side note, the game mode for Dungeons and Dragons, we probably need to try and create a campaign for The Office.
Actually finish that out or create something.
Actually, we'll probably create a new one and be true to it, not like do a gotcha. Oh, this is a zombie apocalypse. But
actually just have The Office.
I think we should do Farm Simulator, but not let everyone know it's a farm simulator.
Yeah, just have them all show up.
Have them think that they're going to
showing up for a session.
They're all baristas opening a new coffee shop.
I've always had one in mind.
Yeah.
I just don't know how to implement it, but it would be a lot of fun
Yeah.
A lot of fun to do it.
Yeah.
If it worked out.
Oh, okay. Here's one. Here's a pitch for you. Everybody builds their character around being the opening team for a Chick-fil-A branch. And they're all being shipped to the new location. And they get shipped there, and it turns out that they're actually the representation of Chick-fil-A, and they're going to climb Mount Everest.
For like charity?
to be the fast food version of Red Bull. They're going to be ambassadors that climb Mount Everest.
You just throw in there that like the Yeti.
Just here to sell fried chicken. No, you're here to climb to the peak.
Hey man, can you pass me the rope? Yeah, sure. Thank you. My pleasure.
My pleasure. Would you like any dipping sauces with that? Oh, man.
That's the rule is all your characters still have to act like they work in Chick-fil-A as they climb Mount Everest.
Exactly, dude. Yes, because they're being reviewed. Oh, I got to put that together. Anyways, okay.
So, yeah, that's it. That's Dungeons and Dragons. Do you have any closing thoughts on Christian media controversies?
I think that most of these things are well-founded by Christian families.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Christians need to continue in this path.
Mm-hmm.
However,
a lot of these kind of like you said, with the book burning it, and the reaction to these are kind of not thought out, and they're very emotional based.
most of what I see with this opposition stuff is Christians are trying to treat lost people like they're Christians. And being like, hey, you can't do that. You can't operate in that way, or that's wrong, or how dare you do that? And like, you need to get over here with us, kind of a deal. And it's like, if they don't have the light of Christ in their life, all you're doing is speaking into the void. You're just saying, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And that sounds very burdensome to a non-believer.
And I kind of made a joke on it earlier, but a lot of times telling somebody you can't do something, a lot of times causes them to go and do that thing.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting at, is they don't have the context that you have as a believer. And so to try and act like they do and talk to them like they're a believer and they're not, it's not going to go anywhere. So first, we need to get the light of Christ into somebody's life, and then come alongside them as a brother or sister in Christ and say, hey, this is not beneficial in your life. Like, this is not going to build you up. It's going to tear you down. You need to be operating in the light of Christ is what I would say is the way to go about it. So having a book burning party is not going to do anything, in my opinion.
Especially if you bought the book, you are actually
you're contributing.
Counterproductive.
Yeah. And, like shouting at people for playing Dungeons and Dragons, if they're not believers, they're not going to take it well.
Right.
So yeah, you got to realize that giving correction, it's only going to be received if it's done in love and it's done from a believer to a fellow believer. If you're trying to correct a lost person in the darkness that they live in on a day-to-day basis, it's not going to make sense. They're in that they're going to actually be in opposition to you. So that's my closing remarks.
Okay. So, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we have enough time for a thumb?
I think we do if we do it quickly.
Let's do it slowly then.
You countered me. Real quick, before we do that, we do have 2 comments that I didn't realize we had.
Okay.
So for the debate episode, Bryce said, hold on tight, Spider Monkey.
That's a Twilight reference.
Thank you, Bryce. That was amazing, and we love you.
Thank you, Bryce.
And then Ashley, on episode 29, she gave some info on the King of Kings movie.
Oh, yeah. She said that it was that the writer on it. Go ahead. And what was her point again? I'm so sorry, Ashley. I love you so much.
It was based on the book The Life of Our Lord by Charles Dickens. According to the Goodreads, Dickens wrote it between 1846 and 1849, but it wasn't published until 1934, 64 years after Dickens' death. And she says, interestingly enough, Dickens was said to dislike evangelicals and to lean towards Unitarianism, which rejects the Trinity. I wonder why this movie was picked to be made into a movie. We obviously believe in the Trinity, so we would disagree with Dickens. But yeah, it'll be interesting to watch the movie and see. I've never read the book. I don't know what the...
Right.
I don't know nothing about nothing. Anyways, are you ready to do some foom?
Yes, sir.
All right, Tyler, this is your transition. We're going to play some Facebook Marketplace Madness. You go first.
You go first. I was literally about to say you go first.
You go first. No,
Go
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
All right. I'm going to butcher this.
Okay.
I picked this one because the item is weird. Also, it's in a different language.
Oh, boy.
So, the number 2.
Okay.
Cofrus, Medidas, 12-inch, and Chocks, 25-inch, large Gox, 9.5 Altura.
How am I supposed to guess the price if I don't even know what it is?
Would you like a picture?
Yeah. A coffin? Oh my gosh.
I'll read it again. 2 Cofrus, Medidas, 12-inch Anchox, 25-inch Largox, 9.5 Altura.
I'm going to say $1,500.
$1,500.
Is that the actual price?
No.
Ah.
This must be a toy or some sort of prop or something. Because looking at the image, it kind of looks like it's made of plastic instead of wood.
Okay.
Because it's $180.
If it was a real coffin, though?
It wouldn't be $180.
But if it was, I'd be like, I'm going to go ahead and buy that and store this somewhere.
It must be, like a... Yeah, if you look at it, I'm going to zoom in on it a little bit there for you. That handle is like attached there. So I don't think it must be some sort of prop.
Okay. All right, are you ready for mine?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is called Chinese Liquor Antique Room Screen.
Chinese liquor. Oh, so just a Chinese screen?
Mm.
Why does that have anything to do with liquor? It's just a screen.
I guess they have special screens for their liquor rooms. I don't know.
In China?
In China, yeah.
Oh, that's going to be $425.
$425?
Yeah.
$900.
What?
Yeah.
Jeez.
900
All right,
smackaroonies.
Just so you guys know, we can make that right now for $20. Some wood and some paper.
Oh my God.
And then have your kids draw pictures on the paper.
There you go. All right. That's all. I only had that
Hey,
one.
Bigfoot, what are you drawing on that piece of paper? Bigfoot. It's a really big foot.
There you go. All right.
So anyways, thank you all for joining us on episode 30. Episode 30 of the Saints That Serve podcast. I hope you join us for the next 30.
Heck yeah. Also, if you haven't noticed, we haven't had a guest on in a little while, and it's just life's busy. Everybody's busy. So we're going to be changing up how we bring guests on. It's not going to be every 5 episodes.
It's just going to be when we get somebody.
Yeah, when we can get somebody to come on, we'll have a really banger show.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they're not. I think they're all bangers.
Yeah, a banger guest episode.
Yeah, we'll have a banger guest episode.
I'll say this. My last week has been tremendously busy.
Yeah.
We, peek behind the curtain. This episode goes live in like a day.
Yeah. We were pushing it this time.
Yeah,
between your work, my work, the live stream, what else? The inductive course.
Bible study.
Yeah, our inductive Bible study course, we literally just finished our last lecture.
Like maybe an hour ago.
Yeah. And now here we are recording real quick so that we can get you guys content for Monday.
So don't think this was rushed. This wasn't a rushed
The
content.
preparation was not rushed.
No, preparation wasn't rushed. The content of the episode and the recording was not rushed.
The editing is rushed.
Not even the editing. I'm going to take my time, make sure it's right. We're just more of cutting it down to the last hour.
Yeah.
So, but hey, we're going to make it, and this is going to be great for y'all.
That's right. You're going to love it. You're not going to even know that it was rushed.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
So,
Boom.
Christ is Lord.
And the kingdom is now.
We are
The saints that serve. Outro music.
Oh my gosh, there's a spider on me. I cannot believe that happened. That was a spider.
Insane.
I can't believe a spider fell on me. And then just imagine that guy's up there chilling like, oh, what are these guys doing? And just getting thrown across the room and getting stomped on.
Oh my gosh, he's attacking me.
I'm dead.
Oh.